Recording in progress.
What's up, everyone? Hello. Welcome to another episode of Read With Me. I am yours truly, Isabel Bedell. I'm here to read with you the last couple of chapters left with CASHFLOW Quadrant. I'm telling you, this book is awesome. That's one. But it's also kind of creepy. And I'll tell you why it's kind of creepy. Every single time that I've, took the time to read and just allow myself to take in this information, because one of the things that I do after I read is I actually go through my notes, I write out my notes, I upload them, and then our team is able to gather those notes and create content from that. So it's a really great system that we've developed. Now, what's creepy about this is that every single time that I actually go in to read these amazing chapters, it aligns with my life, like in real life. I don't know if it's like kind of like this book is, I'm living through it subconsciously, or I'm consuming this information and it's really relevant to my life today. If you don't know, we have a billionaire inner circle that we are so determined to expand with an amazing group of people that are into personal freedom, financial freedom, and they're committed to growing that and growing themselves, building up their assets, building new connections, really evolving as human beings. And we're on a mission to impact the lives of 4 billion souls. So this is not something that I'm going to be doing alone. This is certainly not something that I can do alone. This is a group effort. This is a community-based membership, community-based mission that we're doing this together. As I mentioned, there's 2 legs of Billionaire: personal and financial freedom. So if you haven't checked out the personal freedom books that Vanessa Black is reading, y'all, you gotta go over and check that out. It's so amazing how we've been able to choose these 2 books. And by the way, the community chooses the books that we read on a monthly basis. So if you want to be part of the Billionaire Inner Circle and choose the books that are going to be read every single month, that's another benefit. But the 2 books that we're reading this month, for the month of February, are Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. That's in the personal freedom section. And then, as you know, we're reading CASHFLOW Quadrant here in the financial freedom section. It's crazy because those 2 books, like, they overlap one another. Like, these 2 books at first, we were like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that, but it's crazy how each one actually complements each other in such a dynamic way. So, I'm so excited to dive into chapter 13 of CASHFLOW Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And I feel like Robert has been very clear with his intentions here. He's not taking any prisoners. He's like calling shots at everybody. He does not care about your feelings right now. He understands where you're going, but he's like, let me give it to you straight. Okay? A lot of the things that we've read in the past couple chapters have stung, and not only to people that we actually do weekly recap sessions, so we actually hear feedback from everyone in the community that, yeah, these chapters are a bit like earth-shattering. It has really brought into light things that you've kind of been holding back from actually discussing. And same with me in my personal life. Like, I'm so happy and grateful that about 2 years ago, we took a very clear, about crystal clear idea of what we want. and we started writing our personal, professional, and financial goals down. So our first year, our 5-year, and then our 10-year goals. And one of the things that he did mention in chapter 10, which I feel like honestly is one of my favorite chapters so far, because it really, really resonated with me, is this is how people that may be born into poverty eventually become wealthy. And there's 3 main points. They maintain a long-term vision and plan. They believe in delayed gratification, and then they use the power of compounding in their favor. And I absolutely love that, because as an early stage investor, and I want to say early stage because I want to give myself grace of all the amazing things that are to come. You know, I don't expect myself to be a professional investor like off the gate, no, but I'm grateful that I've started, that I've been disciplined, and I'm at a point right now where as I'm reading this and the secrets are like being shared through these books, I can honestly say with a clear conscience that I did follow my intuition, I did follow my gut, I did follow my education, okay, and I was able to really take great decisions early on. And same goes with Vanessa. Like, we both didn't come from a family that was like wealthy. You know, Vanessa's parents, they had their own business growing up, and she got to experience that entrepreneurship life, true S's as at work. You know, she got to experience building something from the ground zero and building it to a significant amount, which is amazing. And then I came up with 2 amazing parents that worked themselves up from ease, you know, and they're beginning to be S's, or they have a balance of both. But just growing up in that dynamic, growing up in that environment, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stay in that. And I see this quote on Instagram lately, it's been showing up on my feed a lot, that there's always one person in your family that, you know, breaks that cycle of poverty. They disrupt it, they cut it off, they just stop it. And I'm proud to say I feel like the world is telling me, like, hey, you're on the right track, you're going in the right direction, and keep doing what you're doing. Because I know deep down inside, I want to, by the time my parents get to an age where like they don't want to work, you know, I want to be able to offer them the world and not have to think twice. You know, if they ever need anything, like, I want to be able to provide for them in a way that they feel great, and vice versa. Like, they just feel loved and well taken care of, and they don't have to have any pressure on anything. You know, I feel like as you get older, it's okay to become more dependable on people that you love. And I feel like I always have this theory of, like, as you grow older, you become more like a baby, you know, where a baby is dependent on everything. You know, the baby is dependent on you feeding it, the baby is dependent on you making sure that you put on the right sweater when it goes out, and, you know, the baby is dependent on you guiding it to where it needs to be. Of course, when you're older, you have this wisdom about you that you can know what's right and what's wrong, and you can speak up. But when you get older, I feel like if the right things were done, if the right situations were placed, and the right methods were improved upon, I feel like the world rewards you. You know, Spirit humbly nourishes you in any way that you want. So I know this is getting really, really deep, but I'm at a point in my life where I do take my financial and personal freedom extremely serious. Like extremely. I have no tolerance for any disruption on that. And we live in a world today where you can take control, full control of both your personal freedom and your financial freedom, with regardless of you being an E, an S, a B, or an I. You know, CASHFLOW Quadrant words. But I just really want you to take that in, and if it's me that you needed to hear it from, awesome. I'm glad that I was a vessel and I was able to share that message to you. But don't take it lightly. You know, don't wait until it's too late to make that change in your life that you know you need to. Okay? So, hope you got a glass of water, some tea, some coffee, whatever you like to drink, and let's dive into it, shall we? We are on chapter 13 of the CASHFLOW Quadrant, and by the way, from chapter 11 all the way to the end of this book, there's 7 steps that Robert is talking about, and that he knows that if you take these 7 steps with you, your financial freedom will just compound itself over the years. So now that we've hydrated, let's dive into it, shall we? Shout out to Robert for making the CASHFLOW Quadrant. Shout out to Robert for creating the CASHFLOW game, and for all the commitment he's done in his career to, you know, bring light into the financial education world, because it's really, really important. Awesome. So, step number 3. This is chapter 13, by the way. Know the difference between risk and risky. I feel like this one's going to be really, really good. Business and investing are not risky, but being undereducated is. What is proper cash flow management, he asks? Well, proper cash flow management begins with really knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. The following diagram shows a properly managed cash flow of an individual who is 45 years old, which means your income goes directly into your assets, and your assets return back into your income. Your income continues to rise because it's coming from your assets, and your assets continuously rise because they're coming from your income. Your expenses keep going lower because you don't necessarily need a lot of the stuff that you thought you did, and your liabilities get lower as well. That is the diagram that is basically shown here. I use the age 45 because it is halfway between 25, the age most people begin to work, and 65, the age when most people plan on retiring. By the age of 45, if a person has managed their cash flow properly, their asset column should be longer than their liability column. This is a person who takes risks, but not excessive risk, and is in the upper 10% of the population. But if they do what the other 90% of the population does, which is mismanaging their cash flow and not knowing the difference between an asset and a liability, then at age 45, their financial picture often looks like this, where you have a job, your income, it may increase, but everything coming from your income actually goes directly back into your liabilities. As your liabilities go up, your expenses go up, and that's where all that money actually flows out from. Okay? This is the diagram that he's showing. These are the people who most often say investing is risky. For them, it is risky, but not because investing is risky. It is their lack of knowledge and formal financial training that makes it risky. Financial literacy. In Rich Dad Poor Dad, I explained that my rich dad demanded I became financially literate. Financial literacy is not simply looking at the numbers with your eyes, but also training your mind to tell you which way the cash is flowing. Rich Dad often said, the direction of cash flow is everything. So, a house could be an asset or a liability depending on the direction of the cash flow. If the cash flows into your pocket, it is an asset. If it flows out of your pocket, it is a liability. Here's the financial intelligence part. Rich Dad had many definitions for financial intelligence, such as the ability to convert cash or labor into assets that provide cash flow. That is financial intelligence. The ability to convert cash or labor into assets that provide cash flow is financial intelligence. But one of his favorite sayings was actually, who is smarter, you or the money? For Rich Dad, spending your life working hard for money only to have it go out as fast as it came in is not a sign of high intelligence. You may want to review the cash flow patterns of a poor person, a middle class person, and a rich person presented on Chapter 10. Remember that a rich person focuses his or her efforts on acquiring assets, not working harder. Due to their lack of financial intelligence, many educated people put themselves in positions of high financial risk. My rich dad called it the financial red line, meaning income and expenses are nearly the same every month. These are the people who cling desperately to a job for security, who are unable to change when the economy changes and are often destroyed by their health with stress and worry. These are often the same people who say business and investing are risky. In my opinion, business and investing are not risky, but being undereducated is. Similarly, being misinformed is risky, and relying on a safe, secure job is the highest risk anyone can take. Buying an asset is not risky. Buying liabilities you have been told are risky. Buying liabilities you have been told are assets are risky is very risky. Minding your own business is not risky. Minding everyone else's business and paying them first is risky. So step number 3 is to know the difference between risk and risky. And then he has 2 points. Number 1, define risk in your own words. And he has A through E. So these are specific questions that you should ask yourself. Define risk in your own words, and he breaks it down. A, is relying on a paycheck risky to you? B, is having debt to pay each month risky to you? C, is owning an asset that generates cash flow each month risky to you? D, is spending time to obtain financial education risky to you? E, is spending time learning about different types of investments risky to you? That's number 1. So you want to ask yourself these questions and you want to write it down specifically for A through E. Those are the questions. Now he has another one. Number 2, exercise number 2. Commit 5 hours of your time each week to do one or more of the following. And he has A through F. And this is commit 5 hours of your time each week. A, read the business section of your newspaper and the Wall Street Journal. B, listen to the financial news on television or radio. C, read financial websites magazines, and newsletters. D. Play the cash flow game and visit a local cash flow club. E. Attend educational seminars on investing and financial education. F. Consider hiring a coach to help you work through the process of becoming financially free. Awesome. Personally, I'll give my 2 cents here. I do not agree with A through C. I don't like to watch the news. I'm not a big fan of that because it's just too much. I don't know. I like to go with, I like to focus in one lane, and personally, like, I like to make sure that I'm not bombarded with so much information that I get into this analysis paralysis mode. So I do absolutely love visiting a cash flow club. That should be interesting. I wonder where they are. And then attend educational seminars on investing and financial education. If you currently have your favorite financial or educational seminar that you go to learn more on financial education, put it in the comments. We're looking to attend at least one event per month, whether that's virtual or if it's in the physical. If you don't know, now you know. We love to travel, so we're always jet setting somewhere. And then F, consider hiring a coach to help you work through the process of becoming financially free. That was probably one of the best decisions that we made when we decided, oh, let's get into this crypto space. Like, I can do my own research. Yeah. I can watch a bunch of freaking YouTube videos. I can read a bunch of articles. I can, write down step by step. But I'm pretty sure that if I just pay someone the same amount that my time costs, okay, I can definitely advance faster. So I always look at that. If I pay someone, let's say $2,500 a month for them to teach me something, how much is my time actually worth? How much time am I getting back by just investing that money into someone else to shortcut the process for me? Like, I treat that person as literally they're providing me information that I need faster than I would have if I was just to do it on my own. If they provide a service where now they are giving me that information and providing it in a way that I can read it easily, fast, and attainable, that's really powerful. And then there's a next level of, like, if that person can provide me step-by-step solutions so I can start implementing, I mean, that's freaking invaluable, We started our company by doing services like done for you services, and it was great because we knew what we were doing. Like, we understand the process because we did the same exact thing in our business that we were actually helping coaches to do. And what we kept noticing was, like, people won't do the same thing that you do. People won't have the same work ethic, won't have the same mentality, won't, like, commit the way that you commit. So think about that. When you just pay someone to solve your problems, you're not learning from that. Yes, you might learn in a way that, from your mistakes or whatever, or you might start blaming that person. And I love how he mentioned something like that in the book. He's like, typically people that just pay to get their problem solved never get their problem solved because they don't know what problem was actually solved. That's one. And then two, if something doesn't go the way they envisioned or their expectations weren't met, and typically people's expectations are highly elevated because they're emotional and they're just going to a different degree of expectation based on the logical sense of what's actually going on, then they don't have anyone else to blame other than that person. or that industry or that company or that whatever that situation is, right? So I really, really like that idea of learning, okay? You have to learn, like you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time, you have to really take in the information so you can understand what's going on. There's nothing better than an example is like, we're looking currently for a new CPA, right? Because we understood that our previous CPA wasn't up to par to our education for investing, like crypto and real estate. Those are our two main investment wheels, right? And then they didn't know what we were saying, and we're literally reading it from a tax book, like a financial education book. Like that information, we've taken it in, we're doing it. So we're like, that's not right. So being able to share with them, hey, this is how I want something done, this is how I really expect it to be done, and this is how I need it to be done. Can you do this? And if it's not in agreement, setting the right expectations, it becomes this amazing dynamic where that other person understands where you stand and understands where they need to go. And if that is not an agreement, then you know automatically. So we were able to cut ties with that firm and then find a new one, which is really, really exciting because, I mean, the questions that Robert put in this book to just ask your CPA, like I can't wait to ask somebody like how much crypto you got or how much did you pay in taxes last year, you know? Like I can't wait to ask those questions because typically I would just ask other questions, you know, more general questions that align with what we want, but at the same time I didn't get as specific as I should have, and I take full responsibility on that. But I know that was a little rant there, but it's just important, you know, like I'm so glad that there's platforms like this, YouTube, that will live for a long time, that are actually providing value to consumers like yourself that are committed to their personal and financial freedom, and they can just listen in and something might click, something might make you realize, oh wow, this person is saying something that I might be thinking, and shoot, like now I can take action towards something that I need to do, which is awesome. So I hope that was an enlightening moment. We're going to get into chapter 14, 15, and 16, and we're going to finish this book. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad when you get to like the end, because it's like, you know, it's been a really great time, especially with this book. It's definitely one of my favorites. If you haven't read it, make sure to buy a copy. Buy a copy. Don't just be dependent on Audible or even this video to get your read on. It's better when you can actually see what's written. You know, I've just ordered a couple books and I'm excited for them to come in, because I have been, you know, hearing them on Audible, but it's a different story when you can like highlight it, take a screenshot of it, you know, feel it. It's a different dynamic. So hope you got a lot of value out of this video. I know it was more of an intentional, like more like a conversation type of chapter. I know this chapter was a bit short, so I want to make sure that you don't feel like you're taking risks. Just get educated, because as you get educated, the risk is removed. The more educated that you are, the less risk you put on yourself and your family. So I'll leave you with that. Talk to you soon.